I felt the warmth. I was like, oh, this warm poo came out of this sweet little dog.
Oh.
And I felt like I was taking care of her, and it felt so nice.
Okay.
I held it for a while. I was like, warm.
Dear Shandy. Welcome back to Dear Shandy, listeners. Hello, Andy.
Hello.
How are you today?
I'm pretty good.
We're already giggling like schoolgirls. This episode was not supposed to happen. I'm going to be honest. It's not that I thought there was anything wrong with doing an episode about how we got our dog or about our dog, but you guys asked about it and it's so cute. Isn't that
so
adorable?
Cute. It was so cute. The outpouring. I mean, I was really surprised. They're like, yeah, everyone has a dog. Who cares? But no, the Shandys came in force.
Yeah.
They want to know about Ruby.
And they wouldn't drop it.
No.
Every time we would post, they're like, so when's an episode about Ruby coming
What
out?
are you doing? What are all these relationship episodes?
Yeah. And so today, Ruby is in my lap. She's normally in her crate when we record.
Yeah, we couldn't get her out of the crate to begin with, but she's well trained and she knows when we record, when she sees the lights and the camera set up, she actually runs right into her crate.
She loves
and she
it.
just stays there.
Well, because she gets a Kong filled with peanut butter.
Well, I mean, that was the original reason, but now it's because she loves us and she respects the recording industry.
Yes, she respects the artistic process.
Exactly. And she never makes a peep, by the way. We record sometimes for an hour and a half. Not one peep out of her. Anyway, but let's not,
You're already bragging. Are you a bragging father right now? Okay, Andy, shall we get going then?
Yeah.
We asked our Shandies over on Instagram for questions. And as usual, you obliged so well. So we'll just go through them in no particular order. So the first question, the main question is, how did you find her? Did you look at other dogs before deciding Ruby was the one? How long did you research or plan? Was it spontaneous? All that stuff.
This is all you. Because I am the cat person. So this is a new thing for me. We'll get into that later.
Yeah, the cat person thing will come up. Okay, so
I was the cat person.
Oh, spoiler alert. Okay, so Ruby's adoption story. So I had been wanting a dog for a while. I would say the better part of a year, I was actively looking, like refreshing Pet Finder multiple times a day. I'm not kidding, like 2 to 4 times a day.
She was on top of it.
Like my work day would start first thing in the morning. I'd refresh Pet Finder, then around noon, and then in the afternoon, then the evening.
Yeah. And I was getting pictures all through the week of different dogs, and I'd be, I'd reject them. But look, the fact of the matter is, I was a little hesitant to get a dog.
Andy was hesitant about getting a dog.
Because I had some hangups about dogs. I was trained my whole life to think cats were the thing. And cats are great.
You trained yourself to think that.
I know. We'll talk about that.
Okay.
But I was a little hesitant. I wanted the perfect dog.
Yes.
Because I was not, the whole unconditional love thing, I was like, it doesn't feel good to me. I learned. I'm reformed. But at the time, I was very picky. So you'd send me all these dogs. And I'd be like, too big, too small, wrong color.
Or when it was the perfect dog, I would apply and invariably get rejected. I don't want to say rejected, but someone else would have gotten there first.
Which is great. Another dog rescued.
Yes. But I would say I applied for around 20, 25 dogs over the course of that year.
And also, I just want to add, I was very particular about snout. I needed a snout.
A snout.
I'm a snoutist.
You are a snoutist. You like a long snout.
Yeah, I need a snout. A dog's got to look like a dog. Flat-faced, smushy-faced dogs. I think they're cute in the moment, but I need a snout.
Not for you. Well, Andy, some might say you have a little bit of a snout yourself. Maybe you wanted a doppelganger.
Do they say that? No, I actually think that dog owners do search for dogs that remind them of themselves.
Oh, you think so?
Yeah. Sometimes I look at Ruby's face and I'm like, there's some similarities here.
That's what totally caught me off guard, is when we first got her and posted photos, people were like, oh my God, she looks like Andy. So basically, we're looking at almost a year of me refreshing, applying for dogs. At this point, I'm pre-approved at like 10 different rescues across New York, New Jersey.
Up in these places.
But we were looking for something specific. So we wanted a poodle or poodle mix.
Because
of your allergies.
Of the allergies.
Yes. And also intelligence. We heard that they were really smart.
I want a smart dog.
Also, a good friend of mine has a poodle named Walter, who I'm absolutely obsessed with. He's just so perfect. And I basically wanted my own Walter. I will admit it.
Yeah. Walter's got a giant penis too.
He does. It's really quite shocking.
Yeah.
What else? Oh, We wanted a small dog,
Yeah.
like around 10 pounds, partly because we live in an apartment, but also we travel a lot. We both work from home when we're in the city, but so she wouldn't be alone much, but we travel a lot. We wanted to be able to bring her on all our
very
adventures. So that was a requirement. And also, this was also just a cherry on top want of mine, but I really had a thing or have a thing for red dogs.
Yeah.
I grew up with an Irish setter, and that was our family dog named Avery. And I just have a thing for red dogs. So I really wanted a red poodle mix, but I also realized that was like asking a lot, and I will not pretend that every dog I applied for was red.
No.
So finally one day, her listing pops up. I'll include her original photos here. And I send Andy the photos. I'm like, what do you think? He's like, oh my God, apply.
Well, yeah.
And
it's obvious.
I applied with such gusto.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I provided so many details, so many exclamation marks.
You sent a video of us singing a song together?
Yes, I included us singing, like Andy playing the guitar and me singing. I was like, she'll be surrounded by music every day. I just really wanted to bring out the big guns because I had, other times I'd been like, hi, I'm interested in Fido or whatever, and then not gotten any reply. I wanted to make it very clear how serious I was about her. Yeah. Oh, and I should add, just in case anyone else is looking on Pet Finder or like looking to adopt, what I found helped was to expand my search area because she was in, and this is crucial information, she was in Ohio.
Well, when you started like within 3 blocks of us. Yeah. Then it just kept increasing over the weeks. And eventually it was almost the entire country.
There was one point where I was looking at dogs in LA.
Yeah. You went 3,000 miles.
Yes.
Yeah. You were almost going to cross the ocean. You were this close.
I was willing to cross the country.
Yeah.
So she was in Ohio and I applied and I got a reply from the rescue saying that she was already spoken for, but would I be interested in one of her siblings?
When I heard that, my heart
sank.
sank.
I was so sad.
Yeah.
And I said, I really, really want her.
Yeah.
And if anything happens, let me know. And then an hour later, the rescue wrote back and said, actually, they've backed out.
Yeah.
Do you still want her? And I was like, yes, I'm booking flights now.
You should screenshot the text you sent me. There was more exclamation points after that than I've ever seen in my life.
So Ruby's story is she was from a breeder originally in Ohio and was surrendered to this rescue with 2 of her siblings when they got too old to sell.
Too elderly. 10 months.
Yeah. By the time I got her, she was 10 and a half months. Isn't that crazy?
Unbelievable. Which is a perfect time. I mean, honestly, I know a lot of people love to get puppies, little tiny little puppies, but it's kind of a hack to get a 10-month-old dog because they've gone through a lot of the puppy things.
Yeah.
And now they're still a puppy, but you don't have to deal with a lot of the puppy stuff.
So we know details about her, like her birthday, but we don't know, that's pretty much the only detail. We don't really know what she is.
No.
A lot of people think that she's some sort of a doodle.
I originally thought she was a poodle. So everyone said, that's a poodle. It's a mini poodle. And I've started to think she's a schnoodle.
And there was a while where you thought she was a cava. Other people thought she was a cavapoo.
No, I never thought she was a cavapoo. I think she's a schnoodle. She's got a schnauzery way about the face. And body.
Well, we don't know, but we kind of like it that way.
Maybe one day we'll do a genetic test.
But we do know her birthday, and it's April 24th, and we are recording this on May 24th. So today she's exactly a year and a month old.
Aww. Okay, so pick up the story.
Oh, sorry. I keep going off on tangents.
That's going to be a lot of that today.
So I booked a flight to Cleveland, and this was kind of a crazy thing for me to do, if I'm honest. Like, I was a little dizzy from it all. Like, I was relying on these 3 little photos. When I asked the rescue for a video of her, they were like, no.
Yeah, fly to Ohio.
And I was like, okay. So I just sort of kept looking at these 3 photos over and over again, being like, okay, yeah, this is like totally normal to fly to a state you've never been to before. I had never been to Ohio. Yeah. I flew there by myself. I stayed in a night in an airport hotel. I rented a car. I drove 2 hours.
It was amazing.
Yeah, you thought
I was really impressed.
You thought I was being a little bit crazy.
It seemed like an episode. You were having an episode. People are like, where's your wife? Oh, she's in Ohio. She went a little crazy the last couple of days. But in hindsight, it was a genius move.
Oh, because we never would have gotten this dog in New York.
No, never.
Adopted? Okay, we have to first talk about, if we went to a pet shop, sure. Sure, we could get this dog
Yeah,
at a
of
pet shop.
course.
But
Actually, you know what? No, we couldn't get this dog in a pet shop. This is a special dog. Ruby is different than a pet shop dog.
we really didn't want to buy our dog. We wanted to adopt the dog. And, with all these specifications, we wanted the small dog. These small dogs in New York go so fast. It's insane. If it's 10 pounds or less, it's gone
Okay.
like instantly.
Gone.
So I had to fly to Ohio to get this dog.
You had to.
Okay, so finally I drive to this rescue and I meet her. And one of the questions was it love at first sight? And it absolutely was. Like, I couldn't even believe. Oh, so after I get her, I have to drive back to Cleveland Airport, 2 hours with her in the passenger seat. She doesn't make a peep the whole time. She's just looking at me. I don't know, we connected. And then I brought her on the plane with me and I just like kept my hand with her. It was our first day meeting.
Yeah.
And it was a 2-hour flight. It was unbelievable.
Not a peep. No accidents.
No, and then I brought her home and you met her. Would you say it was love at first sight, Andy? You were confused.
Well, from a looks perspective, definitely.
Okay.
She's hot. Okay. But I was like a little, like, I'm a cat person.
Yeah.
I've been a cat person my whole life.
And Andy's never owned a dog.
Never owned a dog. And I was just like, wow, this is like, this is
lot.
it. This is going to be in my house
You
for the
were a
next
little freaked out, actually.
decade or more.
I think for the first 72 hours, you were legitimately freaked.
Not fully freaked. I was modestly freaked.
Okay.
Yeah. You've seen me fully freaked.
Yeah, and you have a hard time with change in general.
It was a low level freak out.
Okay.
And I was like, this dog is great. I knew it right away. I was like, this is an amazing
Her personality
dog.
is amazing.
She wasn't barking.
Speaking
of devil.
Which, did anyone hear that? Our neighbor's dog just barked.
Yappity yap all day long. Anyway, no barking, a lot of loving, eye contact, just being sweet. I didn't feel like she was taking up a lot of space, in the apartment. I didn't feel like it was I was like, oh, whoa, there's a dog here.
Yeah.
She was just living with us.
I think it was the
on
mental
top of
adjustment
us.
for you, never having had a dog. You generally with change are not great.
No.
And you were kind of just like, oh.
Yeah, but a couple of days later, I was in love.
In love.
And you know how I knew I was in love?
How?
I knew the moment. I was taking her for a walk, and it was the first time I picked up her poop. And I remember I was like, this is a little gross. And I put my hand in the bag like people do. And I went down and I picked it up. And when I felt the warmth of her poop in my hand, I felt not disgust, but more love for her. I felt the warmth. I was like, oh, this warm poo came out of this sweet little dog.
Oh.
And I felt like I was taking care of her, and it felt so nice.
Okay.
I held it for a while. I was like, warm.
So next question, describe her personality.
I mean, she's a lover.
I feel like all dog owners would say that about their dogs, but she really is so sweet. She's the sweet, like all she wants to do is make you happy and please you and just be in your presence, be in your orbit, touch you. Sometimes when I'm editing upstairs, she'll like nestle in behind me in the chair just so she has contact
sits behind.
with
We gotta
me.
get a picture of that. Yeah, we'll have a picture.
Oh.
And it's like she knows, she gives you what you want. When you want less, she'll just curl up next to you and go to sleep. When you want more, she'll jump up on you and lick you and paw you. She is the sweetest living thing that I've ever come across in my life.
She's a true mirror. She's like that with humans and with dogs. Like if a dog is particularly aggressive with her, she'll be aggressive back. And if it's like gentle, she'll be gentle with them. Like she totally just mirrors everyone's energy, humans and dogs. It's really sweet.
And she's also very loyal to us, I will say. It's not that that's so important.
Oh, I like it.
But she gives us so much. I mean, the eye contact, the love, the licks, just the curling up on our lap. And with other people, she's just not interested.
And she's eager to please, and she's just not a misbehaving type. She's just like, oh, you don't like it when I do that. Okay, I won't do that anymore.
And she's so smart.
Oh, we're gushing.
She's so smart.
Oh, God,
no, we gotta talk about how
She's
smart she is.
super smart.
She gets things right away.
Yes.
The bell. So we installed a little bell, and we tried to ring it when we thought she had to go to the bathroom at first.
We would take her outside.
Yeah, and then we'd be like, look, the bell's ringing, and we're taking you out to go to the bathroom. And we were like, she's never going to get this. And a couple of days later, we're sitting around, and suddenly she smacks the bell. And we take her outside, and sure enough, right away, she pees.
Yeah.
It was honestly, okay, the first time was kind of shocking.
Yeah.
But now she does it every time.
Yes.
And it never gets old.
Yeah.
It is the cutest thing. And sometimes we'll see her, and she'll be looking at us with that look like, I got to go. And we'll be like, but we don't hear a bell ringing. And she'll be like, and she'll just casually walk over and smack the bell. And then look at us again and be like, is that good enough?
She's also, when we took her to obedience classes, I'm not comparing.
No, I know.
But she did pick up on things faster than some of the other dogs. Okay, we sound like very proud parents.
So, Sharleen, you've seen zombie movies, right?
I have. No, but I'm going to be honest, not many. That's not my thing.
You're not into the zombie movies.
I said I have, but I feel like I've seen one ever.
Yeah, that's a lie. But you know what zombie movies are, right? And you know that zombies are not a good thing in those movies.
Yeah, and zombies end up infecting people to become zombies too, right?
Yes, but zombies live in your face.
I was wondering how you were going to segue into this OneSkin ad, but I mean, you really pulled that off because OneSkin skincare, this has been an addition to my skincare routine. And for me to make a brand suddenly a part of my skincare regimen and stay that way for a while, everyone knows by now that I'm pretty selective when it comes to what I put on my face. And I'm always looking for the next thing. I have no loyalty usually. And OneSkin is founded by scientists, all women, by the way, and they've done a lot of R&D to learn about senescent cells in your skin. You start accumulating senescent cells as early as your 20s, and these senescent cells are also called zombie cells. That's the connection there. And these zombie cells, they stop producing hyaluronic acid and collagen like they used to. And not only that, they secrete an inflammatory substance that infects the cells around them so that they stop working well either. This is a source of aging, by the way. This is what causes some fine lines and wrinkles. And so OneSkin, they developed their proprietary OS1 peptide, which combats senescent cells. And so unlike most skincare out there, which basically only targets the symptoms of aging, you know, the fine lines, wrinkles, the things that come to the surface, OneSkin targets it at the root, at the source, by combating the senescent cells.
OneSkin is the zombie killer. The OS1 peptide was actually found to reverse the biological age of your skin
by reducing the number of senescent cells in your skin by up to 50%.
50% less zombie.
And you don't have to take our word for it. OneSkin has over 4,000 5-star reviews for a reason.
So OneSkin is the world's first skin longevity company.
By focusing on the cellular aspects of aging, OneSkin keeps your skin looking and acting younger for longer.
Get started today with 15% off using code Shandy at oneskin.co.
That's 15% off at oneskin.co using code Shandy.
After you purchase, they'll ask where you heard about them.
Support Dear Shandy and tell them we sent you.
Sometimes you get ooh and sometimes you get ah, but if you want ooh ah, CB Distillery.
Andy, that jingle, I think you're making a comeback in the jingle department.
This isn't about the jingle. This is about truth, because I have been doing a lot of oohing and a lot of ahhing. The oohing I've been doing was on that sprained ankle I got that rainy night.
We were leaving our dog's obedience class, and it was a very rainy night on steps that we weren't familiar with. And
and I completely bought it. This ooh was the targeted relief I needed.
Yes, the CBD stick for targeted relief. Let's see this. I absolutely love this stuff. 1,000 milligrams of CBD in this one stick. And you rub it on. I gotta say, CB Distillery's line of CBD products are the best I've ever encountered, by far.
I totally agree. And I was about to get to the ah. Ah has really come to the rescue during a pretty stressful time over the last couple months.
I love the ah gummies. So they are for relaxation and relief. I mean, I sound like a broken record, but I have tried other CBD products and CBD oils, you know, put under your tongue, all the things, and I'm just like, am I feeling something? Like, I feel like CBD is something is massively hyped. People talk about it. And then I've often felt like, oh, maybe this is placebo. I don't really get it. Mm-hmm. And then with CB Distillery, this changed the way I saw CBD. I get it now.
Yeah. And I like the way that they tell you what everything does.
Yes.
It's not like, oh, here's some CBD, you know, go run wild with it.
Well, that's how it often is. Here's CBD. It's going to fix all your problems and whatever. Yes. Just go take it. No, they have specific products for specific needs. And they're so carefully formulated with only the cleanest, best ingredients, no fluff, no fillers, and you can really feel the difference.
What the bottles say is exactly what happens.
It's true. Ah.
There's no other way to describe it.
Ooh,
when I take one of these, it's ah.
Yeah.
When I take one of those, it's oh.
Yeah. And the one for sleep over there that we also love is
shh. Yeah, shh. Obviously, we've talked a lot about shh. Shh.
So with over 2 million happy customers and a solid 100% money-back guarantee, CB Distillery is the source to trust.
We have a 20% discount to get you started.
Visit cbdistillery.com and use code Shandy for 20% off.
That's cbdistillery.com, code Shandy, cbdistillery.com.
Any tips to fellow germaphobes who love dogs but are scared about the gross factor?
Okay,
Andy?
so you're talking to the right guy. I know we got this question because of me.
Yes.
And I'm a big germaphobe. My biggest piece of advice, and maybe the only piece of advice you need, is that when you come back from a walk, use antibacterial wipes on all four paws, the tummy, and the butt.
Yeah.
That's it.
Biodegradable ones.
And I'm
preferably.
fine. Her paws have gone in my mouth, and I'm not crazy about the mouth paw thing, but I'm okay with it.
I bathe her paws at least once a week too.
And, don't let her lick you in the mouth. It's very easy to do. You don't have to let your dog lick you in the mouth.
I will add, though, that I think she's been good for your germophobia, which I think was reaching. Andy's germophobia was reaching.
Yeah, it was reaching Howard Hughes level.
It was becoming kind of a thing, like kind of a problem. Like it got worse since when I met you.
Yeah.
I'm serious. Like over the course of that decade, you were starting to get like freakish.
Thanks. Appreciate that.
And so I actually think she's been really good
She's been great.
Because he loves the dog more than he loves being a germaphobe.
Yes, it's the sacrifice I've made, and it's the easiest sacrifice ever. I'm just like, I'm going to have germs on my hands and my body.
Yeah.
And it's
okay.
100% worth it.
Yeah. Next question. What took you so long?
Well,
I don't know if I have an answer to this.
That's a big question.
That's sort of that question goes deeper.
Question.
Yeah, that goes deeper than I don't know that I possibly feel comfortable talking about here.
Well, I'll be honest. We didn't think we could have a dog like Rupi that would be able to travel with us so easily and would be able to live in a New York City apartment so easily. Like, we really thought it was going to be a liability.
I think it was all excuses. I think that for me, I've done some soul searching over the past couple of years and maybe came to terms with the fact that even though I have these ideas of what I want, I don't actually do anything about it. A good episode that I'll refer to here where we touch on this is the intuition episode where Natalie Miles talks about how she feels, and she's like an intuitive. She feels that the big difference between her and most people is that she actually does something about the messages she gets or whatever about her own intuition. And that stayed with me. And I truly felt like this was, an act of me doing the thing that I've been thinking about, but not doing anything about.
Yes.
And so it's kind of a deeper answer than maybe the person asking this question wanted. But the reason it took us so long was more of a personal growth thing.
Yeah. Also, I was resistant to getting a dog for some deep-rooted reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was a kid, I always wanted a dog. And my parents didn't get me a dog.
Andy spent his allowance as a kid on dog magazines. He was into dogs as a kid.
I wanted a dog. I really wanted a little puppy. And then I realized the puppy wasn't happening. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to go cat, because cat is lower maintenance. And the cat I'll probably get. So I started getting really into cats, and I started actually reading cat magazines. Very weird childhood. And I never got the cat. And so when I got to college, it was my senior year of college, there was this girl I was dating, and we decided, let's get a cat. And I got a cat at school, and it was great. I loved this cat, Little Rain. She was so sweet. And I loved her. I had her for 10, 11 years. And then that was it. I was like, I'm a cat person. I love cats. And every time I saw a cat, I'd go crazy. And I like dogs too. I like all animals. But dogs weren't hitting my heartstrings. And the thing I thought was, number one, like, I just wasn't meant to have a dog. It was sort of ingrained in me.
Yeah.
Like, dog was not my thing.
I think you felt unworthiness around a dog.
Unworthiness
when you,
around
as
a
a
dog.
child, say you really want something and your parents just won't get it for you as much as you
feel like
try
you don't
to
deserve
show.
it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But it was something else. It was that I had a misconception, is that I thought it was more rewarding to have a cat, because a cat made you earn its love in the moments. Like, throughout the day, it wasn't always just like all over, like, oh, what are we going to do next? Let's play. Let's lick you, everything. And by the way, my cats are very friendly, and cats they can be very loving.
And very dog-like.
Very dog-like. But generally speaking, you do have to earn it throughout the day, here and there. They're not just always willing to give you all the love. And I thought that was cool, but so I was like, I want to earn it. I don't want to feel like it's just being given to me unconditionally.
Yeah.
And that's what I had wrong. Because with Ruby, it's like, we did earn it. We just earned it throughout the first few weeks, and now it's for life.
Yeah.
So every time I see Ruby, she's like, I love you.
And she's not like that with everyone.
No, she's not like that with everyone. It's just us.
Yeah.
And I was so wrong. I want the unconditional love.
Yeah.
I want it. I want it all the time. I want every time Ruby sees me to be like, that's my man.
Oh.
And it feels so good, but I don't want to work for it. I want it to just be, I want it to have it. And I do work for it because we treat her, this is a spoiled dog.
Yeah, she has
There's
it
no
very
question.
good.
She has it good. I'd say half the day, like literally of a 16-hour waking day,
Yeah.
8 hours, both of our hands are on her doing some stroking of some sorts.
Yeah.
So she's very spoiled. But that being said, there is nothing I love more than waking up in the morning and having this dog jumping on me because it's so excited to start a day with us.
So, wow, Andy, thank you for sharing that. That answers the what took you so long question.
Yeah,
Next question. I thought Andy was a cat person. Why did you switch to Team Dog? The main reason originally was your allergies.
Allergies, yeah.
I got to say, people, there were a lot of comments on Instagram, whenever we post about the dog, they're like, why didn't you get a cat? I got to say, those people have not been listening.
Not listening, dear Shandy.
The whole irony or cruel fate, rather, of Andy's cat obsession is that he is as allergic as he is.
Super
When
allergic.
he had his pet cat, he got weekly allergy shots.
Yes, for 52 times 10, 520 weeks of allergy shots.
Yes.
And that's the only way I could live with her.
So that's why we didn't get a cat. Otherwise,
Yeah.
we would have had a cat.
I would have had 3 cats.
Yeah.
I'd been one of those people.
Someone wants to know, does Ruby give cat vibes?
Yes. Ruby
Yes.
is all the good things of a cat and all the best things of a dog.
What are your favorite dog toys?
Mm.
Oh, I mean, I'm going to answer what I think her favorite dog toys
I think
are.
it's more important what her favorite
Yeah,
dog
well,
toys are.
someone asked this because they're like, we're getting a dog soon. She loves the snuffle toys, the ones where you like hide little bits of food in these little like pockets and things. I'll link her favorite. I'll link a couple of things below,
Yeah.
but there's this one set of like, it's like her beauty set.
Yeah. Oh
It
my
was on
God.
Amazon.
It's got Podger in it.
Potter, yeah.
Yeah.
She loves them. They occupy her for a long time.
And also the lamb that squeaks in 6 different places.
Oh, yeah.
Or 9 different places.
Yeah.
She loves her
9 separate
lammy.
squeakers.
And also, I would be remiss not to mention the dog that has a heartbeat in her den.
Oh, yeah, that helped her in the early stages,
Yeah.
the heartbeat, for sure. Has Andy been giving Ruby more attention than you, Sharleen? This was interesting. The first, I would say, month and a half, like I can see on a very minor level how having a kid changes
Yeah.
a relationship.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was challenging. Like we were fighting more.
Yeah.
We like she definitely like triangulated our
yeah.
very like we were, we really had a thing going, the two of us, and then she came in and it was a wrench.
Well,
I don't know how else to put it.
The thing is, I find you very cute, and like cute, like really, like you're hitting the highest level of my cute receptor. But when Ruby came along, I only have so much room in the receptor.
I feel the same way. Like I find you as cute as I find you the other things that why I married you. And when this thing comes in and just maxes out your cute receptor, you no longer see each other as cute. You're more like partners. Like I find you funny. I find you smart. I find you interesting. But you weren't cute in the same way to me anymore. Like I was maxed out on cute every day.
But it was a chemical thing.
Yeah.
Like I still find you as cute, but I don't have room. There's nothing left. I'm tapped out.
Yeah. So
She's too cute.
Yeah, she is too cute. So we had a few fights and a few conversations where we were like, we have to always make time for each other.
Prioritize each other.
Yeah. And not let Ruby just totally make us see each other as just a business partner.
Right.
And
Yeah.
caring for her.
When it really hit me was in the morning when I would, I'd see the both of you and my eyes would go to Ruby.
Yeah.
I'd just be like, oh, Ruby. And I wouldn't look at you.
Yeah.
And I was like, this is wrong.
No, there was one
This is
time
wrong.
I got actually mad at you when you came home and we hadn't seen each other all day.
Yeah.
And I was like, "Oh, hey!" And you were like, "Ruby."
I know, and I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't
I
even
was
think
like,
about
"How
it.
dare you!" I was so mad.
I know. I felt so bad. I didn't even look at you.
Yeah.
I mean, I got to tell you something. This dog is cute. She's like, it's ridiculous. I don't think it's just different. You can get different cute. You can't be more cute.
Well, one of the reasons we don't record with her with us, we crate her, is because she's so distracted.
Yeah. It's like looking at the sun. You just can't. If you look too long, it's over.
So basically, we had to come to a sort of understanding. I do think we've gotten better.
Yeah, we're better.
But I can only imagine when you have kids what that does to of the couple's relationship.
I would imagine it's times 10.
Yeah, like the good and the bad.
Yeah.
Who watches Ruby when you're traveling? We have a couple of sitters in our neighborhood. We rely on Rover. This is not
Rover
sponsored.
is great.
Yeah.
They're not sponsored.
Not sponsored, but we've been big fans so far. What is your favorite or most silly thing Ruby does?
I mean, the bell ringing is pretty amazing.
Yes.
The touches. So we go to the biggest field we can find, which is one right by Central Park over here. And we go about 100 meters apart and we do touches. So basically touch is the command for her to come and put her nose on your finger. And so we stand
Really far
really
apart.
far, to the point where I can barely hear Charlene's voice.
Yeah.
And we just say touch, and we have little bits of, little treats.
Training treats.
And she runs. Let me tell you something. No one is faster than Ruby. I'm thinking America's Got Talent or like one of these ESPN dog races soon.
Such a stage dad.
I know, it's terrible. But she is so fast. No dog outruns her. But anyway, the point is she will sprint at breakneck speed the whole way. And the second she gets the treat with me, she just turns around and goes to Sharleen, and she'll go back and forth until we tire her out to the point where she's like, her tongue is like on the floor. It's amazing.
And it's so cute because she knows we're setting up for it when we part ways.
Oh, yeah.
But we've had to rely on this to get her exercise in because she doesn't do fetch or frisbee or anything. Like, she doesn't care when we do fetch. If anyone has any tips for fetch, let us know, because we would love to have a dog who
bad at
fetches.
fetch.
She does not
It's her
care
weak spot.
about
Oh,
fetch.
hold on. I want to show her the other thing. I want to show them the other thing that she does. It's amazing.
Oh, okay.
Here, just let me see. Come on.
Okay.
I know she's sleeping, but she'll get more sleep later today. Come on, Ruby.
Okay.
We're going to show them a trick. Are you having a nice dream? Look at this. Are you kidding me?
Okay.
All right. So let's go. We're going to do a little trick here. Ready? High five. High five. High five. Yes. I mean, that's pretty good. Good girl.
Okay.
Look at these ears. Look at this.
So, Andy, we were recently traveling.
We just got back, actually. We're on PST currently.
Oh, yeah.
And let me tell you, last night, you were sleeping on one side of me on the sofa, and Ruby, our dog, was sleeping on the other side of me. And I was just awake. And while you were both snoring away, I went over to the kitchen and I made myself a hot cocoa. And I know that might sound counterintuitive, but because we're talking Beam Dream Powder, which is nighttime hot cocoa for sleep, it only helped me. It did not hinder me. Plus, I got to have a nice late night snack.
And when I woke up, you were sound asleep next to me, smelling of cocoa.
So my favorite flavor is the mint chip flavor. Andy, you're holding over the cinnamon cocoa, but they really have so many flavors to choose from.
I can smell it through the thing, but you have a tendency not to fully close things. So I'm getting a good whiff of this, and it is delightful.
I fully close things.
You don't. You always close them like a quarter of the way.
That's not true.
Yeah, you do. It's okay. It's a cute thing you do. Everything is open.
So our longtime listeners know that sleep is sort of a thing for me. It's often elusive for me. And I'm a big Beam Dream Powder fan, and that really cannot be taken lightly, because I try all sorts of sleep supplements and often find that they do absolutely nothing. And so when I discovered that Beam actually worked for me, I was pretty stoked. And while other sleep aids can give you grogginess, we all know that feeling where the next day you are regretting
you're paying for it.
Yeah. I don't know if that's really a good payoff. Sometimes I'm like, okay, well, I slept, but I don't actually feel rested. So what was the point? Because Beam Dream Powder relies on an all-natural, powerful blend of reishi, L-theanine, melatonin, nano CBD, and magnesium. You don't get that grogginess the next day. And the numbers do not lie. In a clinical study, 93% of participants reported that Dream helped them get better sleep.
And 7% were just jerks.
So we have a special deal for our listeners, the Shandies, on Beam's best-selling Dream Powder, their science-backed healthy hot cocoa for sleep with no added sugar.
Get 40% off for a limited time when you go to shopbeam.com/Shandy and use code Shandy at checkout.
That's shopbeam.com/Shandy and use code Shandy for up to 40% off.
Better sleep has never tasted better.
So, Charlene, today we've got a lot to do.
Uh-huh.
And you know what's one thing we don't have time to do?
Cook.
That's right.
Is there anything worse than having a full plate of a day?
very nice.
Yeah, I see what I did there.
Yeah.
And not having the time to actually cook the food that you're going to put in your belly.
And you can get takeout, but you know what? That's a lazy habit.
Oh, I think that's also an expensive habit.
Expensive, lazy, and probably not that healthy.
Not necessarily. I mean, you think all the dishes at all those restaurants are dietitian approved, like they are with Factor.
And Factor is never frozen, always fresh.
Yes, Factor is meals delivered to your door, fresh, never frozen. They are chef prepared, dietitian approved, and they take into account all sorts of diets. So let's say you're keto, let's say you want extra protein, let's say you're vegan, all these things that honestly, if you're eating out, are hard to accommodate. Yeah. They then live in your fridge, and when you're ready to go, you just pop it in the oven, you heat it up in 2 minutes, you have a delicious restaurant caliber, I have to add, meal ready to go. And for days like today where we are very busy, it is a lifesaver. It is a game changer, lifesaver, one of those things
and
where
money saver.
And money saver. And you're like, I don't know what I did before Factor. That's how I feel now.
I mean, a personal chef would be the ultimate dream, but
Yes.
the next best thing, Factor.
So head to factormeals.com/Shandy50 and then use code Shandy50. That's Shandy50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month.
That's code Shandy50 at factormeals.com/Shandy50 to get 50% off your first box plus 20% off your next month while subscription is active.
What surprised you about yourselves upon taking care of Ruby? Have there been any hurdles? Ooh, this one is major for me from a like self-exploration standpoint. I would say, like, I think you struggled in the first 72 hours, but then you were like, okay, I'm in love. And I, in the first 72 hours, it was fine. And then like 2 weeks in, I kind of freaked out.
Yeah.
I was sort of like, oh my God, this is it. Like there's no going back.
No going back.
And it was about this time too that she was sort of struggling with the potty training. And I was like, oh, it's going to be like this forever. And I learned 2 things about myself around that time. One was that I have issues with like being very attached to anything. Like the level of like clinginess, of neediness, of her just being there. You know, like I go to the bathroom and she's sitting there staring at me. Like there was no private time ever. And I'm more her mommy, right? Like if we're on different floors, she's with me usually. Yeah. And so I just felt like I had no alone time. And I can only imagine what it's like when someone becomes a mother. But I really struggled with that. It's something that I am like, I don't want to say phobic of, but it was like really difficult for me. Like
you don't feeling needed too much.
No. And I was crying and like I texted a girlfriend with a dog and I was like, I'm sort of struggling with this. And she actually said something really helpful about that, my friend. She said that, remember that all she needs from you is to just be near you. It's not like she needs anything more from you than that. And the other thing I learned about myself is that I repel guilt. Like I don't like feeling guilty. That's another thing about motherhood, you know, like with actual human babies that has always not been appealing to me, is this sort of inherent guilt that mothers seem to feel all the time.
Yeah.
And I realized having Ruby that I tend to not put myself in situations or relationships that make me feel guilty because I just don't like the feeling of it. And so I would prefer to be less needed so that I then don't feel so guilty. But so she's been really good for me. So like I've learned a lot about myself.
I feel like you've got through those hurdles pretty well.
Yeah, but it was a 1 week window where we went to dinner and saw a movie, and we came in between to let her out and to spend some time with her. But, you know, that evening we were out for, let's say, 5 hours collectively.
Yeah, that was a big night.
And I felt so guilty that like even when we had paid the check at dinner and we were just sitting there enjoying each other's company, like on a date night. And instead of just enjoying being there, I was like, every second that I'm sitting at this restaurant, Ruby's at home waiting for us to come home. And it made me feel sick.
Yeah.
And so I've come a long way, and I've accepted that, you know, she has a fantastic life. She gets to see us a ton.
And remember, the thing you have to always remember is we always come home.
Yes.
And when we come home, she's so happy that it makes up for some of the discomfort she felt when she was alone.
And she doesn't hold it against you either.
No.
She's not like, you were gone a lot tonight.
Well, that's the thing about a cat. I will say that a cat can hold it against you for a little bit.
Oh, that's funny.
And they do it in funny ways.
Oh, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Okay, so anything you've learned about yourself, Andy?
Well, I also, it's similar. Like I felt the guilt of not giving to her when she wanted. So every time she would like, she'd jump up on her hind legs and put her paws on me and look at me and be like, I want to do fun things. I want you to love on me. I'd be like, every time I was like, well, I got to do this. I got to love on her. What am I going to do? Not love on her like a crazy person? So I eventually got to the point where I was like, it's okay like once in a while that if she wants to be loved on and I'm really busy, I'm doing other things, it's okay for there to be a couple of times here and there where I don't love on her. I have to work on that because those couple of times are like maybe very widely spread out.
Yeah.
But that is one of the hard things is like, I always feel like, how can I deny this unbelievably cute, sweet, loving animal loving when she really wants loving?
But the thing is, she wants it all the time.
She wants it all the time.
Yeah. So guilt has been one that has come up with us a lot.
But that's also something I've been dealing with in all aspects of my life forever, and you as well.
Yeah. She just sort of brings it to a head. She really faces you with it.
She actually really mirrors you with a lot of your issues. I find it really therapeutic because you realize what your strengths and weaknesses are very quickly with a dog.
Totally. What kind of food do you give her? We feed her fresh food. We're those people.
She's spoiled.
How does Ruby react to Sharleen singing opera? It's funny. Ruby's very poker faced.
Yeah.
And she just sort of like looks at me and like looks away and kind of just doesn't seem to care.
She doesn't
sing. She doesn't make a peep. She's sort of like, oh, that's the thing mommy does.
But we do play, like when we were when we drove out west with her and we left her in the hotel for a little bit, we played that dog music, the really relaxing.
It was a YouTube video that was supposed to relax dogs.
And she really seemed to take to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, she curled up and went to sleep.
Who is the stricter parent?
I mean, it's you.
Yeah, by far.
Yeah.
I'm really, it's so weird how, oh God. Like, I can see how people are like, when they have a human baby, they realize that they're becoming their mother or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, I'm that way with her. Like, I feel myself being my mother with her.
Yeah.
Like, I am certainly stricter.
Oh, yeah.
And
I let her get away with anything.
Yeah. But I do give her more treats than you.
That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah. You use
the
the
guilt,
honey instead of the stick.
Well, because I feel guilty a lot of the time. I'm like, oh, she's bored. I'm too busy to pay attention to her. I'll give her treats. What nicknames does she have?
Oh, Boo Boo Girl.
Andy calls her Boo Boo Girl.
I mean, she's obviously Boo Boo Girl.
I call her Rubes.
Yeah, I call her Roobity Doobity Doo. I'm Boo Boo Girl.
There's a lot of baby talk going on in the house. You know what it made me realize is how much baby talk was going on before.
Yeah.
And how now it's all been transferred over to her.
Right. We used to do it with ourselves. As a matter of fact, we got so weird at one point when one of us.
I don't think we should share this. Don't share this.
I think we can do it. We share a lot.
No.
This isn't that much, is
really?
it? We could do this. When one of us would come home after a long day, we would act out being a dog and just start wagging our tail and go running around in circles. I was getting a little weird, I think.
Yeah, we were starting to get weird. We needed a pet.
Yeah, we needed a pet.
Yes.
It was getting crazy.
We needed something to funnel all the weirdness towards.
Yeah.
Where does Ruby sleep? And where is she when you record? We keep her in her crate, which leading into this, because when I had a dog growing up, we did not crate our dog.
Right.
She had her own room. And so I had a misconception about crates. I thought it seemed cruel, but I did some research on it, and turns out dogs really love having like a den. They're den animals. And she responds so well to her crate. She loves her crate. It makes everywhere we go home.
Yeah.
Like when we traveled, we were in Denver, we were in Vegas. We brought her crate everywhere we went. It's a collapsible one. I'll link it below. Obsessed with this crate. I cannot recommend it. It was one of the best purchases.
And sometimes when she feels unsettled, she'll just go in there for like safety.
Yes.
It feels like a home inside of a home.
Yes. She loves her crate. She'll go in there voluntarily.
Oh, yeah.
Sometimes even if we leave for a while and we won't lock the door or anything, we'll leave her on the sofa. We'll come back and she'll be in her crate.
Oh, yeah. And sometimes at night, if we're watching, too much TV or something, she'll literally go into her crate and be like, it's bedtime.
Yeah,
Come on,
like
guys.
rolling her eyes at us. Is having a dog what you expected?
It's better. It's better than I expected by a long shot.
Oh, Andy.
I love it. You know what? I love going for walks. Like I used to think, this is what I thought. This is typical me. I'm just I have a very pessimistic outlook on most things.
But you shouldn't.
I shouldn't.
Though. Yeah.
I always am wrong. I'm always proven wrong by doing the thing.
You just cling to your negativity,
Always
and I don't know
cling to it.
why.
It's
You've been proven
genetic.
time and again.
I've come from a long line of people fleeing. It's a real problem. It's an ancestral issue I have, trauma.
Yeah.
But I will say this. I used to dread the walks. I'd be like, oh, I'm gonna have to walk her all the time at night and morning. There's nothing I look forward to more than taking her for a walk. Every time it's new.
It's a reset throughout the day.
Yeah.
And I'll just look at her and she'll just fill me with like a warm joy for doing nothing, just looking at me.
Just looking at you.
Yeah.
Every time she goes into a field and just starts racing around and jumping over things, it's like ultimate joy. I don't think about anything else. The worst thing in the world can be happening to me, like at work or something in health or anything, my family. It's all gone.
I can see why they say that do they say pet owners or dog owners?
Live longer.
They live longer.
Pet owners, yeah. Dog owners particularly.
Andy, all the cat people are going to be mad that you've betrayed them.
I didn't betray them. I love cats, but I've gone to the dark side.
Andy
I'm sorry.
has been so ruined by this that we will pass by the pet store. There's a pet store near us that has like little kittens in the window. And in the old days, if I passed that window and I texted him, he would like come running to come look at them.
No.
And now he's just like, nah.
Let me tell you something else. I no longer have eyes for cats. I no longer have eyes even for other cute dogs. It's not unlike meeting the partner of your dreams. You just stop looking at other people.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes when there's a really cute dog.
It has to be so cute that it's off the charts.
Yeah.
Also, I have been getting like 50% more steps every day.
Oh, yeah. Totally.
It's healthy.
Yeah.
Like that alone, forget about the emotional aspect. Just the walking is healthy.
For me, having a dog is slightly better than I expected. And I was expecting it to be pretty good. I mean, I'm the one that made this happen. But it's even, the love I feel for her is different than the dog I had growing up. Because that was our family dog.
Right.
And if I'm honest, when my parents got that dog, they mainly got it for my older sister.
Yeah.
Avery never really felt like my dog.
Got it,
I had this, one-on-one connection with her the way I do with Ruby. There's something about her being your dog.
Absolutely. You know? And one last thing I would like to add is that one of the fears I had about getting a dog was that you'd get used to it and it would become like furniture eventually. Be like, oh, the dog. Yeah. Oh, cute, whatever. Every day I have Ruby, I love her more the next day.
Oh, Andy.
It's pretty corny.
So next question, what's been the hardest part about having a dog?
Well, someone is glowing today.
Oh my goodness. Glowing?
Yes, you are glowing. I literally see glows coming off of your cheeks.
Glows are emanating.
Yeah, your cheeks reflect light. Mine do not.
Well, Andy, maybe it's because I've been more diligent about my apostrophe regimen. I mean, you can tell that my apostrophe tretinoin with 4% niacinamide is, it's on the way out. This is old, but I have a new one coming in the mail. And that's because I filled out Apostrophe's online consultation where I took selfies of my skin. I described what my skincare concerns were. And then a board certified dermatologist reviewed that information and prescribed me prescription skincare. They do both oral and topical. And let me tell you, there is no result more satisfying than when your skin becomes clearer and brighter and smoother because you've been so on top of your skincare game. And Apostrophe is the shortcut for making that happen.
Well, I will say, without Apostrophe, I never would have even dipped my toe into the waters of skincare.
Oh, forget about it.
Yeah, and I dipped basically both legs in. I just haven't gotten fully past the waist yet. Because that's the hardest part for a man.
Wait, what?
His balls.
So Apostrophe is an amazing online platform that connects you with board-certified dermatologists, and we have a great deal for our listeners, the Shandies. Right now, you can get your first visit with an Apostrophe provider for only $5 when you go to apostrophe.com/Shandy and enter promo code Shandy at checkout. That is a savings of $15, and this offer is only available to our listeners.
To get started, just go to apostrophe.com/Shandy and click Get Started.
Then use our code Shandy at sign up, and you'll get your first visit for only $5. And we thank Apostrophe for sponsoring this episode. What's been the hardest part about having a dog? I think logistics. It's not that they're that bad, but for example, I have an opera coming up in Ireland, and there's been a lot of discussion over whether or not to bring her to Ireland. Yeah. We were planning on it, even though it's super complicated.
You need to get a dog passport.
Yeah, dog passport. All these issues about it. And finally, after taking her on this trip to Denver and the Grand Canyon and Las Vegas, we did this 10-day trip. We're actually going to leave her with my parents.
Yeah, where she has a
Ottawa.
huge golf course to run around.
Yeah,
on.
she's just going to be happier based
Yeah.
on that experience. Like, she had a great time on that trip, but I think she'll be happier with like a little more stability and a little more nature.
We're not going to be happy.
No, we're going to have a hard time. But like logistics like that, that's been kind of like, oh, like that's a flight we're taking. Oh, I need to make sure that I book a dog on that flight. It's not a big deal, but it's
Yeah.
an extra step that at first I was like, oh, I have to do this every time I hop on a plane with her.
Right.
And now I'm just like, oh, it's this extra thing I
Yeah.
have to do. It's like checking your bags.
It's a small labor of love.
Yes.
And I think also keeping an eye on us paying appropriate attention to each other within the relationship.
Yes. Yeah. The relationship, like I think it helps to have a very strong relationship to
Yeah.
start. Because I think if you don't, it could be challenging. Or who knows, maybe it would bring you closer. I don't know. But in our case, I felt like we were really strong and the dog sort of like put us, it was sort of wobbled
It's
things
like a
bit.
loving wedge.
A loving wedge, exactly. Did you buy pet insurance?
Yes.
Yes. Who is Ruby's favorite?
Okay. Well, I think, okay, this is what I'm going to say. I'm going to say that. Okay. I'm going to say this. If it was a matter of life or death, it's you.
Yes.
If it's kind of just like, you know,
Fun.
having fun, wrestling around,
Yeah.
I probably have a slight edge.
Yeah, you're the fun parent. You're the
Yeah.
one who plays with her,
Yeah.
acts goofy with her. I'll act goofy with her, but I have to be in the right mood. This is very much taking after my own mother.
Right,
Which I
right.
feel like almost a little like disturbed by.
Yeah.
It's so weird
you
when
can't
you
help but
catch,
become your own mother.
Yeah, it feels weird. You catch yourself
Yeah.
acting like your own parents. But that was my mom growing up. Like, she was definitely more strict. She kept a schedule.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
she made sure that we were fed and clothed and all the things, but it wasn't really like playtime ever. And I'm definitely the responsible parent who makes her appointments and makes sure that we have food, but I'm not as much the fun parent as you. But I think that she follows me more.
Well, we did the thing where she's
thing.
standing between you and you run in different directions, opposite directions.
Yeah, we did that in the park.
And she's took a second to think about it,
Yeah.
but then she did go after you.
Yeah. She's so spoiled though that we're at the point where when we go for a walk, if only one of us is with her, she'll like look around
Oh my
for the
God,
other.
it's
Like
so
she
cute.
she needs to have both of us with her.
Yeah,
all
she'll
the
stop
time.
every 25 feet, stop and turn around looking for the other person, and she'll do it the whole walk.
So we're pretty close to equal, I would
Yeah.
say. How has Ruby changed since you got her?
She's become more secure.
Yeah. I'd say mainly more secure, but not necessarily braver.
No, she's a little
she's
timid.
a baby. She's a total baby. Yeah.
She's a scaredy cat, but she's also like when dogs come at her, she's very tough.
Yeah.
It's hard to correlate what's going on there.
Okay, and finally, Andy, how has Ruby changed your life?
Honestly, she just has made every single day fun. Like I never wake up anymore. I'm like, oh, this is going to be a bad day. You know, I got bad things I got to do. Things are amiss. Every morning I wake up, she's jumping on me. I'm so happy. I get to work on the couch. She's sitting right next to me. I get to take her for walks and watch her run around. I'm happy all day.
Oh,
I'm not thinking about my problems twice as often as I used to
I've
be.
noticed a distinct difference in your level of negativity
Yes.
since getting a dog.
No day is
In
bad.
that way, she's been good for our relationship.
Yeah.
Because one of my least favorite things about you is your general pessimism and negativity. Like, I don't consider myself that optimistic a person, but next to you, I'm super optimistic. And it can get a little tiresome at times. And with her, she just elevates your mood throughout the day. So you just don't go into these like unproductive, unnecessary funks throughout the day.
It's not possible for me to do that. I literally, when I'm with Ruby and when I'm having time with Ruby, no matter what bad thing is happening in my life or in my head, it's gone. It's just shut out. All I hear is just tunnel vision for this unbelievably sweet dog. It's
Aw.
amazing. There's no bad day anymore.
Yeah. And for me, I mean, all of the above for sure. Like waking up in the morning, coming home,
Oh, coming home is the best.
going to bed. Like there's just all these little routines that they just make your day. Seriously. Like when I take her out in the morning and she's just so excited to spend a new day with me, it just like puts me in a good mood for the day. And like you can like, oh my God, listen to us.
I
We're
know.
just, like,
It's
glowing.
unbelievable.
But for me, an unexpected perk that I think has changed my life is how much more interactive she makes me in my day-to-day life, like out and about.
Oh my
Because
God, yes.
when you have a dog, you talk to other people with dogs. I gotta say, if people want to meet new people,
Oh.
I now am 100%
It's a
recommend.
superpower.
Yeah, get a dog.
Oh my God. It's almost cheating. It's not even fair.
But especially for single people, people who are like, we get questions like, how do I meet new people? Look, I'm not going to guarantee if you get a dog, you're going to meet the love of your life the next day. But for me, I have met so many people in our neighborhood
I mean,
through this.
And just as an example, we were in Vegas with her and we were at the pool at the hotel.
Yeah.
And let's just say there were a lot of women at the pool who, there's a lot of women at the pool.
And what are you getting at, Andy?
I'm just saying that I walked across the pool with Ruby and I was assaulted. There were women who would have not given me the time of day in that moment, were literally, they would not let me leave their presence. You have a dog, you will be talking to people that you may want to date.
Yes.
Period.
It's possible. You never know.
Yeah.
You'll just end up interacting, talking, and depending on the person, you could become friends with that person.
And it's never weird.
No.
It's like you're part of a very elite club. It's like you walk in the door, it's like, oh, it's you. We're good. And I used to not have a dog and go up to people with dogs and be like, oh, tell me about your dog. And they'd be like, oh, okay, that's enough. And I get it now. I was in the park recently and some guy was just there to look at everybody's dog. The dog run we go there. He was just there. Some middle-aged guy was just walking around petting other people's dogs. And I was like, dude, chill.
You have
It's
to
like
contribute.
one notch below the guy being in the playground alone.
It's like going to a potluck and not bringing a dish.
Yes. Bring the dish.
You need to contribute.
And you know what's great too about these conversations? You meet these people, you have this big, you're like, oh yeah, mine does this and yours does that. And like, oh yeah. And then you can leave. You don't even have to say goodbye.
Yeah,
You just walk away. No protocol.
We just don't talk to strangers anymore.
No.
We don't talk to strangers anymore. Seriously, when was the last time for no reason you spoke to a stranger on the street? I don't know. It makes me happier in an existential way.
Yes.
We're all connected way. We are not all the enemy. Just because we're strangers doesn't mean that we have to be wary of each other.
Right.
Sometimes we all just want to get along. And somehow your dogs make it so that is possible multiple times a day, every time you leave the house.
And it's so cute. We're all humans who have decided to take these little furry animals and make them our own and live with them in our homes forever.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hilarious.
I actually have a really good example to drive this point home, and then I think we can wrap. There's a woman in our neighborhood who has two stunningly gorgeous, enormous, and kind of snooty looking Irish setters.
Oh, I know the woman.
And these Irish setters are gorgeously groomed, and they saunter around the Upper West Side with these bells on their necks. So they're ding, 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 and they're walking around like this. And in the past, when I've tried to meet this woman's dogs, she's been kind of
she never gave me the time of day.
Yeah.
With disdain. If I went near her dog, she would look at me with disdain.
I think one time I said I grew up with an Irish setter, and she was like, And now that we have Ruby, I get to pet her dogs all the time.
Oh, she lights up. It was unbelievable.
Yeah. She was like, oh, you had an Irish setter growing up? Oh, here, this is so-and-so, this is so-and-so. It was a beautiful interaction. And it made me see her as, I don't know, it brought me closer with this stranger that I've seen from afar and whose dogs reminded me of my dog growing up. And I don't know, now we're connected.
Well, honestly, to sum up this whole episode, get a dog. It's a no-brainer.
Yeah, it's been life-changing. And especially...
Meanwhile, every single person who's watching this already has a dog. They're like, oh, we already know all your...
We know. We're officially on the other side.
We're on the other side.
I get it now.
Yeah.
I get it now. I get it now.
We get it. You were right. You were all right.
Yes.
And cat people, you are also right, but just the slightest bit less right.
They don't have to be less right.
They're differently right. You're differently right.
You're going to lose so many people, Andy.
No, I love cats. I actually still one day have a fantasy about having a leopard as a pet.
How many shots will you have to take for that?
That's
Okay, Andy. Well, I think that's a wrap of this drunken love.
Talk about a love fest.
I mean, listen to us. I never thought we would be these people.
No, I was 100% sure that I would not be this person. You know what it is? It's the purest love. There is nothing confusing about it.
Yeah.
It is love in its purest form.
Oh, speaking of things we've learned about ourselves, I think that she, in a way, has taught me how to receive love.
Yes.
Because I don't know, we're different. Like we've been together a long time. I don't know. Obviously I know how to receive love from you, but I think in some ways in the beginning, I really struggled with this sort of unconditional love that I didn't feel I had deserved. Like I didn't do anything other than adopt her and care for her. And she's loving me so much. I sort of like felt like, ugh, like why me? Like and now I've just allowed myself to receive it. And it's been such a beautiful exercise for myself.
Yes. And there's a reason why you're receiving it. You're receiving it because you've given her love. She's just giving you back the love you've given her.
Yeah. Yeah. The ultimate mirror.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I think that's
Speaking
a wrap.
of which, give me that.
Okay.
Come on.
Give me that.
You've had her long enough. Come on, Ruby.
Okay.
Come to daddy. Come to daddy. Okay.
Okay, if you enjoyed what you heard today, you know what we will ask of you, and that is to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, follow us on Instagram, and
TikTok,
leave us Apple and
Spotify,
podcast ratings and reviews. Tell your friends and generally do all the things you would do to support a podcast you enjoy. If you didn't enjoy this episode, this is not a normal episode.
It will not happen again. Do not fret.
Yeah, this is not a normal Dear Shandy episode, but it came hotly requested. We're only giving the Shandys what they asked for, but it felt good to do.
It did.
Thank you so much for tuning in, and we'll see you next time on Dear Shandy. Bye-bye.
Dear Shandy.